And I'm curious about resources for someone who may feel like they are at risk of eviction, specifically at this time of the year or any time of the year, but we're near the holidays and some people are experiencing that financial stress and they're concerned that they could be evicted before the end of the year. What are immediate things that people can do to help protect themselves?
If you feel like you may be getting evicted and you receive a 3-day pay or vacate, make sure you are communicating with your landlord. It's so important for them to understand where you're at. Most of the time, renters will just ghost their landlord, and that's not always a good thing. So reach out and make sure you're communicating. You have been, tell them all your assets you've paid on time, for the last 11 months. This is just a hiccup in your situation. And can you get on a payment plan? Show them that you have skin in the game. It's it's really hard. I mean, 3-day pay or vacate, and once you get an eviction on your record, it's extremely hard to get another rental in the future. So make sure that you are having a positive exit with that relationship. Meaning, if you get a 3-day pay or vacate, vacate, because every day you don't stay in that rental, you're going to have to pay 3 times the daily rent. And that is financially crippling.
I was going to ask about that fees, late fees, when it comes to delinquency on your rent. I was reading some of the housing codes and I read something about how fees are capped at 10% of your monthly rent or $75. Is that cumulative? Like if you have multiple late fees a month, and what's kind of the legal recourse if you are being charged multiple late fees above what that housing law says?
So late fees are, you can't ignore them. You have to pay them. You can be evicted just for having late fees, 3-day pay or vacate, because you have a balance. So please pay them. Number two, if they're charging you more than 10% of your rent as a late fee, reach out to the mediator. We have a mediator, and sometimes, landlords don't know all the laws, and so they don't realize, what they're doing. And most landlords want to do the right thing. Reach out. We do have a statewide mediation program, Utah CAP, or dial 211 and ask for housing mediation. And that way you can, have somebody who's in the middle who, can explain to each side what is happening and then work out your workout plan and then move forward. But in your lease, it will determine what they can be doing each month for late fees.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I imagine for someone who's already behind on rent, and then they're being charged late fees, that it just becomes a more and more difficult hole to get out of. And they get deeper in that. And then you get an eviction, possibly bad on your record, and then you need to find a new place to live, and you have all those fees and expenses of moving. How does someone get out of this hole?
Well, this hole is extremely hard to get out of once you have racked up, treble damages. And also there's other fees that go along with, breaking your lease. And so also they can charge, you know, future rent. After you leave, say they don't rent it out for another 3 weeks, they will charge you rent. And so these expenses can skyrocket. So all I can say is you are liable. And in your lease, it will say that there's a percentage that you have to pay on top of that till you pay it off. It will go into a debt collection, and you can pay it off that way. But as soon as you can, like I said, rob Peter to pay Paul, go to the food bank, use your grocery money to start to pay that down. Reach out to, I mean, at the end of it, the lawyer, say you want a payment plan. and and try to, show in good faith that you want to, get this down. And also, ca- when you go to court for your eviction, make sure that you understand that there's a mediator within the court system that could help you negotiate. There's also, you could reach out to legal services to receive help. And most of the time, if you're willing to, put skin in the game, then they're going to work with you.
Yeah, that's a lot of helpful advice. I'm just going to check my notes here and see if there's anything else. Um, so I know you mentioned quite a few services that you offer with the HEAT program, with mediation services. Are there any other services that you'd like to highlight that people can use specifically during this time of the year when they're just trying to make ends meet through the holidays?
So if you need, a few extra dollars to pay your rent, a lot of times landlords will only take the whole piece of rent. They don't want a portion of it. You could dial 211 and ask them for your area if there's any housing assistance. And I know Utah CAP has assistance, but you have to meet their criteria. Salt Lake City Housing Authority has some assistance for rent, and there's criteria that you have to meet. So dial 211. Also, reach out, say, hey, I don't want a Christmas gift. Can you just give me $25? Or reach out to the church. There's churches out there that, want to help people in the community. So, find out, if you do go to church, or your neighbors, ask them if they know of a way that it could help pay for the rent, especially in the cold.